Welcome back, grade 11s. Now we are about to start with the most important concepts, which is the causes of stress. Let's check what is it that causes stress in the workplace. As you can see from the picture depicted, the employees in that workplace are not happy, which means there has to be stress involved there. Now you might ask yourself, what would make them to behave in such a manner? The first cause of stress that we have is heavy workload. Now, if someone has heavy workload, it simply means that they have so much work to do, but in a very short period of time. So this might cause them to have, remember, as we have said, stress, which is a mental state. Also, working long hours without taking any breaks. Now, it might be impossible for you to be productive from morning until the evening without having to take any breaks. And this might cause a lot of tension in your body. We also have bullying as well as harassment. So it might happen in the workplace that you have employees or colleagues that are working with you, but they are bullying you in the workplace. Therefore, you might be stressed. We also have what we call unconducive working environments. So this is when it happens that you are working in an environment which is not conducive, or in other words, it's not safe for you to work there. It is not clean, or any other factor that might not make it an exciting place to be in. We have a lack of teamwork as well as conflict with employees. Now remember, we have said that conflict is when there is a disagreement between two or more people. So it might happen in the workplace that your employees that you are working with are not really team members. So in other words, they do not want to work with you. Therefore, there might be disagreements between you as well as your colleagues. Taking work home is another factor that causes stress. Now imagine a situation where you are working from 8 a.m. until 7 p.m. And when you get home, you still need to continue with the very same work and neglect your family members. Now this might cause you stress because you do not have any other distractors that take you away from your work. Now let us check, why is it important for businesses to manage stress? It says here that stressed employees are more likely to miss work because they cannot cope or because they have serious health problems. Now remember, as I said, grade 11s, when you are experiencing stress, you might have a lot of tension and you have a mental strain, which can cause health problems. And if you are sick, you are not a productive employee. Therefore, you will be absent from work to probably go and visit a doctor or to stay at home and rest. Workers who suffer from stress often make poor decisions and errors, and this could lead to unforeseen emergencies. So imagine a situation where I am very stressed. It might happen that I will give wrong explanations because my mental well-being is not in a good state, or I am dealing with numbers and then I end up making incorrect decisions because of the fact that I have too much that is straining me mentally. Stressed employees may lead to poor service as well as unhappy customers. Now you might have noticed when you go into a shop and then one of the employees is probably experiencing stress rather. So you will see from their reaction that they are not really interested in helping you. So now this is going to cause you to be unhappy. And obviously, the reviews that you are going to give about that particular business is going to be a negative one. Poorly managed stress can result in high absenteeism and lowers the performance of employees. Now, like we have already said, if I am stressed, I am more likely to miss work so that I stay at home and really look at what is it that I can do to better my mental or physical well-being. And then a very important aspect to note, grade 11s, is that although employees have no control over the stressors in the workplace, now you might ask yourself, what is a stressor? Now, a stressor is simply something or someone that is causing you stress. Then I will go through that again. It says, although employees have no control over their stressors in the workplace, they need to realize that stress can be managed in the following ways. Before I explain how we can manage stress, let us quickly remind ourselves of the causes of stress. Remember, we said heavy workload, long hours, bullying, unconducive working environments, as well as lack of teamwork and taking work home. Now, how is it that we can then manage the causes of stress? It says there that we need to avoid conflict situation with our co-workers. So instead of engaging in a dispute with your employees, you need to avoid conflict in the simplest way possible. If it means leaving a situation, then so be it, so that we can avoid all the disputes that can happen. It's very important to also take regular breaks to relax as well as to recharge. Now, you might ask yourself, how is it that we can take regular breaks when there's so much work to do? Remember that for you to be more productive, you need to have a time where you clear your mind. Now, this is why in school as well, we'll attend a few periods and then we go for break. Now, you will realize that when you come back from your break, you are more relaxed and then you are ready to go on with the lessons. Same thing happens in the workplace. We need to give employees time to relax and take their minds off the pressures of work. It is very important to also follow a balanced lifestyle. Now, how do we follow a balanced lifestyle? By eating healthy, exercising, as well as participating in activities that promote relaxation. So, as you leave work, it is very important for you to eat a balanced diet. Remember that for you to follow a balanced diet, you need to at least have 3 meals per day. It is also very important to go to the gym if possible, or exercise at home and take part in other things that are not work related to help you to relax. We must also apply good time management skills. Now you will notice to say, at times when you are writing exams, you will want to study probably a day before. Now you will realize that this causes a lot of stress. So for you to experience less stress, you must have a good time management. Then where you will say, I will study maybe a week before, and you will realize that your stress levels are going to be down. Very important, you must also set personal, realistic goals and targets. Now, what do we mean by realistic? It simply means that you need to be able to set goals which you know that you are able to achieve. We cannot set goals that are difficult, not difficult, but impossible to achieve, because that on its own is going to cause you a lot of stress and a lot of tension. Now, I have said a lot, and I need you now to then think about what is it that causes you stress in the workplace, or at home rather. We are now going to look at what we call crisis. As you can see from this image, it shows a picture of a burning building. Now you might ask yourself, how is this a crisis? Let's find out. Crisis is defined as an unforeseen event that can cause major changes in an organization. So like that picture that you have seen previously, if there is a fire in the workplace, it causes a major change because it means that we are no longer able to wake up the following morning and go to work because the building itself has burnt down. It is a potentially disastrous series of events that may occur. So like again, the fire is a disastrous event that can cause a lot of damage and a lot of money will be lost in the workplace. Now let's look at the examples of crisis. A loss of property due to fire, as I have explained. Power outages. Now remember, in our terms and definitions, we defined a power outage as when we do not have the supply of electricity in our homes. An accident is also an example of crisis. And then lastly, we have what we call a breakdown in machinery. So this is when it happens that you are probably working in a working environment and then suddenly the machine stops working. Now this is a crisis because it means that all the working activities that are happening need to stop immediately. How is it that we can now deal with those examples of crisis that I have just listed now? It is said that we must assess as well as evaluate the nature of the crisis. So in simple terms, we need to understand what is this crisis and what is causing the crisis. And after we have done that, we need to then respond to the situation in a calm manner. So let's think about a situation where we are probably saying there is a bomb that is about to explode. Now, how would you handle that situation in a calm manner? I will leave that for you to decide. If necessary, we need to seek advice from experts. So going back to my example, if there is a bomb that is exploding, what do you think an expert will be able to help us to do? They will obviously tell us how to handle the bomb situation. And in that instance, it helps us to keep calm because we know that there is someone that is experienced in that particular field that is going to help us with our crisis. We must also manage the seriousness of the situation by responding to the situation immediately. So we must not dismiss the crisis situation and take it lightly. We need to be able to attend to the crisis situation as immediately as possible. Why are we doing that? It is because we want to lessen the effect of this crisis. We must also ensure that accurate as well as correct information is provided when we manage this crisis situation. So in simple terms, we must get all our facts straight so that we know exactly how we are going to deal with this crisis. Now, I'm sure you are thinking, this is very interesting. Now, I want you to carefully think about what I have said. And you must then think, what is then the difference between this crisis that we are talking about and the stress that we have talked about earlier? As you are thinking about it, let's go to an ad break.